Good morning. How are you guys doing? I am Abby Sue Front. I'm excited to talk to y'all this morning. We're not going to be long. I know it's the beginning of the day, and I just wanted to share a couple nuggets and tidbits that I had received this yesterday when I was tuning into the White House briefing. Y'all come on in, come on in. I'm gonna give y'all just a few more seconds to come on in. Um, if you guys want to stay connected to information that we have and updates about what's going on in the marketplace, especially the GovCon marketplace, definitely join our mailing list. It is scrolling down below, www.albizsolutions.com/connect. Um, we have a lot of great things that we are and programs that we are implementing in 2024, but we want to end 2023 with a bang. So I'm excited to chat with you all real quick, give y'all my takeaways, my tidbits, different things that I picked up and all that. And then I'm gonna leave y'all with a few tips on what to take and what to do from the briefing that myself and many other business owners were a part of on yesterday morning. So I know you guys are up here. I'm looking right here at my computer, so don't think I'm ignoring you. I'm just getting my notes together because there's a lot of good things. But I don't want to keep you guys on here long. I want to get in and give y'all and give y'all something to think and then go on about it. Okay. So, so yesterday morning, the White House did a briefing talking about Black entrepreneurship and opportunities. And so I just wanted to highlight, I took notes and I wanted to highlight five of the major things that I took from that particular briefing. One being that the President Biden's administration highlighted that Black business ownership is growing at a very fast pace. It actually is growing at the fastest pace it ever has in the last 30 years. So that's pretty amazing. I love to hear those numbers and analytics. There's so much talent. There's so much strength and capabilities within our community. And I love that we are trying to bring it to the forefront and bring it to other people far and wide through the vehicle of entrepreneurship. So that's really, really dope. The second thing I also wanted to highlight was that they said that under Biden, the U.S. is on track to have its third strongest year in history for new small business applications, and that Americans have completed and filled out 15 million applications to start new businesses. Like 15 million is a huge, huge number. And I think that's great. And one thing that people don't understand is that our economy thrives off of business. If you didn't know, right? If you're under a rock, you didn't know, our economy thrives off of small businesses, particularly small businesses, because there are a lot more small businesses than big business. But what helps keep the economy healthy, what helps keep rates down, what helps us keep pricing of like food and stuff down is through the strength of our small businesses. And so we literally thrive off of that. So we need businesses. We need businesses. Not only do we need businesses to stay in business, right? And so we're going to talk about that in my next few points. But 15 million applications is a substantial number. So there clearly is some type of correlation where people want to take their skills and offer it in another capacity. I know that, jobs or retention of employees it can be difficult, especially in this climate, and there might be some changes going on later on down the pipeline, and that's cool. But in retrospect to that, people still want to offer their skills to the marketplace, and so that's something that is noteworthy and is worthy, honestly, to be highlighted. So I'm very, very excited to hear about those numbers. 15 million applications. And one thing that came to mind was, okay, there's 15 million applications. How many are going to stay in business? Because if you know anything about business, you know that most businesses fail in the first few years. And so, in the information that we received, I'm hoping that the plans that they have, as far as funding, capital, resources, will help sustain these businesses beyond this administration's term, going forward, right? The third thing I want to highlight is that programs like the SSBCI, I don't know if you guys heard about that, SSBCI, that stands for State Small Business Credit Initiative. They were provided, let me see, so programs like the SSBCI, which is a $10 billion program, are bringing capital and technical assistance to small firms and business owners. And the SBA lending to Black-owned businesses has doubled since 2020. So, along with us being the fastest group of individuals that are starting businesses, more lending has been pretty much provided to our community, which is awesome. Because that's one of the main things I hear all the time in my community, is that there's just a lack of funding, support, resources. So hearing that they have it, that this particular program has assisted small businesses in whatever their needs are is great. Number 4 I want to highlight is that, and this is one that I particularly love, right? President Biden and his team are looking to increase the share of federal contracting dollars that are going to disadvantaged small businesses from 10% to 15% by 2025. So we're talking about as early as 12, 13 months from now, that number can be moved from 10 to 15%. And some people may think 5% is a small number. When you're talking about trillions of dollars, 5% is not a small number at all. And that's going to allow so many businesses to just keep going and offer more jobs, and offer jobs that can help people live and pay their bills, right? And so opening up that gap from 10 to 15% is crazy. That is crazy. Like, and when we're talking about disadvantage, a lot, so what that looks like is sometimes the number of employees, even where you're located, okay? Usually if you have under a certain threshold of employees, you consider small business, like let's say 500 employees. But then there's other socioeconomic categories that you can qualify for, even just based off of where your business is located and where your employees live, i.e. the hub zone. So we want to take advantage of all those other programs, but I'm gonna give y'all some tidbit in a little bit on how, on actionable items that you guys can do to help position yourself in 2024, right? And the last thing I wanted to talk about was the briefing highlighted a new $190 million initiative from the Economic Development Administration, focusing on investment in distressed areas, including those supporting Black entrepreneurship. $190 million is amazing. So again, y'all want to make sure y'all tap in. There's a lot of money going around, and I know that. Now, I personally have not had. Hold on, let me think about it. No, I did take advantage of some of these programs because I do have a business. We are operational. We can be found. We do have an operating agreement. We do business. So I did take, my business did take advantage of some of those programs that they have. But for many of y'all who have started even in this big $15 million application boost of small businesses, I want to help y'all in determining what do I do, where do I go, and how can I get a piece of the pie, right? Because that's really what it comes down to. I want a piece of the pie. I want to do business. I want to do good business. I want my business to stay open, and I want to be aligned with the resources that are going to help position me moving forward. So when we look at the capital and funding resources. There are a couple things. We got the SSBCI. Now, everything I'm gonna tell y'all gonna have to research in Google. Okay, I'm a big advocate of making sure that you learn how to research and make phone calls and get some answers. Okay. A lot of times people will give you misinformation. So if you do your due diligence in looking for this information on your own, it really doesn't get any better than that, right? So we talk about capital funding and resources. We're talking about the SSBCI. So go into Google and type in SSBCI and put in your state. So I'm located in the state of Alabama. So I put SSBCI Alabama and kind of just be willing to go down that rabbit hole of figuring out who is holding these funds, who is providing, who is lending out this money, where is it coming from, and is there an application, where do I go? Start making phone calls. And even in still, when we're looking at funding and different things, one thing I always like to highlight is building and making relationships. You're only as great as your network, right? And I always say that because your network holds so much power. So even in the midst of all this, right, part of your roadmap needs to include networking and building relationships, getting people to know who you are and what you do. We want to be seen as the subject matter experts in whatever industry that we're in. And so we got to put ourselves out there. It can be scary. It can be intimidating. It could be all the things, right? But just take it in small tidbits. You don't have to jump off the ledge. You can literally just do one step at a time in building relationships, going to events and different things locally where you are. Bring a friend so that, the anxiety may go down, right? So you want to look at the SSBCI. You also want to take a look into CDFIs, Community Development Financial Institutions. Again, type that into Google, type in your county, type in your city, type in your state. There are lists that I've seen personally of where CDFIs exist and how you can obtain it. I have started my application for that process, and so I plan to finish it in beginning of 2024 for some of the projects that we plan on doing. And and with the CDFI, their funding, the administration has provided $12 billion in funding for that. So that's billion with a B, okay? What else? Okay, and then the economics. So get to know who your economic development local region administration is, as well as your SBA. It wouldn't hurt to get to know these people and them to get to know you. I know that even in the midst of this community, there are still other resources like your SBDC and even SCORE that can provide counseling, resources, planning, just different things that we may need as small businesses that we just may have not considered or just don't know how to acquire or how to get or how to set up, whatever the case is. So there are free resources through the federal government that they provide for us. And I want to challenge you all to take advantage of those resources. Let's see what else. So you also have your Minority Business Development Agency, your MBDA. And again, they also provide consulting and training and business counseling to minority business entrepreneurs across the nation. So again, go to Google, put in your city, state, county, MBDA, and figure out where these centers are located and then connect with them and start that process. What else? Your SBDC. So there's a lot of great things. So with all this great information, what do I do with it? Where do I get the money? Well, the money is there. You have to be in position and you have to kind of know some people to know how to navigate and where to go. One of the main things I would suggest is, of course, networking. You really can never go wrong with networking. 2, I would learn about certifications and I would start applying for my certifications on a state level as well as the federal side. However, when you're trying to apply for certifications on the federal side, you do have to have an active SAM registration to allow that process to go through, okay? So registering for SAM.gov, free application for business owners and businesses to work with the government. and there is no cost for that. Everything with the federal government is free, so you do not have to pay for any application fees or anything. On the state level, they operate a little bit more differently. There are some states that do require payment for your certifications, whether you're doing an MBE, WBE, DBE, SBE. There's so many options on the state level. But again, go to Google, go to your local SBDC, your local SCORE or MBDA, and they can definitely point you in the right direction of where you need to go and where those applications are, so that we can be successful to set up us being in position to receive funding and support and resources so that our businesses can stay open and provide jobs for those in our community. Don't you just love that? I love that. What else? I would also urge you all to continuously get trainings and get you a mentor. Sometimes we can stay stuck in our head, and it's hard to get our thoughts out. And so not only just getting training, but talking and having a mentor helps you in this process. You do not have to go through this process as a business owner alone. There are lots of resources, and sometimes you may not hit the nail right on the head on the first bat when you're looking for a mentor. Sometimes it may take you a couple to get through to find the right mentor that understands you, that has the skill set, that has the experience that can help push you, propel you, and the tips that they can give you to help you exist in this current in this current climate of business. And let's see what else. I would also just make sure that you also have some visibility. I like to always say, if they can't find you, they can't fund you. So at some point, there has to be some type of visibility, not necessarily just social media, but just having a website and being connected, let's say on platforms like LinkedIn, and being active so that other businesses can know that you exist in this area. And then the last thing I would just say and suggest is just have your paperwork in order. A lot of times when you're filling out these applications for funding, it's very seemingly like, an application that we complete when we're doing a credit card or anything like that. So, on the personal side, we know, our name, our address, how much income we make, and different things, right? But we also should know and have that information readily available for our businesses as well. And they may ask for additional information like a business plan or your operating agreement, or information about your board, different things. Different application require different documentation. And so as you start to look at these applications for funding and resources, start building your own portfolio so that you have that information with you at all times, so that next time there's an opportunity that is provided, let's say from the White House or from the FBA, for funding and support for small businesses, you have all your information together, ready and organized in a portfolio where you can just give them what they need with no problem, no stress, no anxiety, and pray that they like what they see and they can provide you funding. So thank y'all all so much. I really just want to come on here real quick and just share my thoughts. I think that what they are doing in our community is great. And a lot of times we just don't know where to go. So I gave y'all a few tidbits, a little bit of homework, research. You know me, I'm going to make you do a little bit of work, but it's always to better you, for your embetterment. It's never just for your detriment. It's never to place you in an opportunity where you cannot thrive. I always want to see everyone win. So go ahead and get ready to get familiar with Google. You and Google have some homework to do this holiday season. But I thank you all for tuning in with me this morning. I hope this information has been helpful and useful to you. Stay connected with me. Y'all see my banner scrolling below, www.aobusinesssolutions.com/connect. As I get more information, I'll give you my insights. I'll tell you what it is, and you can do what you need to do for your business to position your business for greatness, for longevity, and to keep not only your doors open, but to help the community that is around you as well. But that's all I have for you today. You all have a wonderful and safe and fulfilling holiday. I may come back on maybe one more time before the end of the year, but if I don't, I'd love to see y'all at the top of January in 2024. Y'all have a wonderful day. Bye, everybody.